You know, Truman would write terrible letters to Joe Stalin about how he was going to bomb him back into the Stone Age. That phrase, of course, came from, not from Truman, but from somebody else. He would get angry with Stalin, and he would write stuff about him. And then he would stick it in his drawer, and the next time he saw old Joe, he would behave perfectly civilly to the gentleman. And he got it out of his system that way. And that's a good way to look at writing, I think, or even speaking if you're not speaking to somebody else. My previous wife would get up in the morning and stand in the corner in the bedroom dressing in black, which she did back even before it was fashionable. She dressed in all black and she would chant, "Everything is bad, nothing is good. Everything is bad, nothing is good." And she chants that over and over. And I was thinking, what have I gotten myself into here? But then she would whistle and dance. She was a dancer, a good amateur ballet dancer. And she would dance out to the kitchen and make a wonderful breakfast of bacon and eggs. She got that stuff out of her system, that negative stuff. We're told to go forth and be positive, and most of us know that positive thinking really works, although George Carlin, remember his routine about, said they say positive thinking really works. I don't think it'll work for me, though. I just don't. Well, that's George. He's a wonderful philosopher. But if you can get it out of your system in writing, that's one way you can use a journal to maintain your equilibrium and mental health, and maybe even your physical health. Now that my tender age of 78, and maybe some of the rest of you are nearing that age, sometimes you wake up kind of depressed. Sometimes I wake up and I don't want to get up. I just want to, sing along with Elvis, "Make the World Go Away," and pull the blanket over my head. But I know if I don't do something, and I will get more depressed. And I don't choose to be depressed. So I get up and I go, first I turn on the coffee. I have this lovely lady here, makes it the night before. All I do is push the button on my computer, sit down and start writing. And what I do, as I said, I have prompts, if at all possible. If I don't have prompts, sometimes I'll simply go back, and I'm going to read you this one little slice of life that I wrote 3 or 4 days ago, if I can call it up here. Yeah. I woke up about midnight and couldn't go back to sleep. I'd gone to bed too early. Now that, I just started writing that. I wasn't thinking. I thought I woke up, so I wrote I woke up. The rest just came, as it does to you too, as it did today, I'm quite sure. I'd gone to bed too early. A healthy snack would make me sleepy. I spooned out 4 teaspoons full of yogurt into a bowl and sat out on the couch in the living room and read the newspaper, all about the election, and ate my healthy plain yogurt. I ate it all quickly and continued reading. I was still a little hungry. From the cabinet in the kitchen, I brought down a box of cheeses. From the refrigerator, I got a jug of milk and poured a glass. I sat down again in the living room with the open box of cheeses and the milk and the newspaper. More about Donald Trump. I was eating the cheeses one at a time, just the careful way my father would have had he ever eaten cheeses, which he hadn't. He rarely snacked and never ate junk food. He'd always leave the table a little hungry, he said. He was never overweight, not 1 ounce. He died thin and handsome. This is the best exercise for dieting, he said, holding out his hands as if he were pushing away from the dinner table. I finished the box of cheeses and read one more article from the editorial page, and then I got up and went back to bed, and I hoped to sleep. And then I write 500 words for my first shot, and that's 250. So I went on, and this is it's really what they call stream of consciousness. Mom was often up at 2 or 3 a.m. She'd be sewing and smoking a cigarette with a long ash that might fall onto her lap. She'd run a seam and look up at me when I came in, the errant teen who had stayed out too late, even for liberal parents like me were. Liberal parents like they were. I'd stand there and I'd watch her making whatever it was. I might ask her to tell me about it. she would, usually quickly, and then she'd get on with it. But if I asked her, I learned not to tell about her golf game that afternoon. She'd put down her cigarette, ash and all, and launch. Well, on the first hole, Tilly teed off and drove a good 200 yards that hit a tree and went right into the rough. So then, I'd say, oh, really? Well, look, Mom, it's late. But I couldn't politely get away for another 15 minutes. And then I had to pretend I had to go to the bathroom. Moms don't want their 16-year-old sons to wet their pants, no matter how much they want to tell about the third hole and how Tilly pulled it all out of the bag. Well, that's 500. Thanks, 500. So I can quit. Now, if it's $4.99, I can't quit. And the reason for that is a simple thing of, if you say you're going to write 500 words, you write 500. If you write $4.99, the next day you'll write $4.98, $4.97, then $3.80, and then not at all. And the big thing is to keep the habit. Now, would anybody want to volunteer? Just a couple of you time for anyway. Would anyone like to volunteer to read their slice of life?